Hello YouTube, Argonaut2 here. So I'm not going to do too many of these ammo type videos because I know we're all getting sick of them and they don't really lead anywhere. And I'm certainly not doing this to gloat, but I just wanted to have a brief chat today and talk about what I've been able to find, how I found it, what my thoughts are on the situation, and then I want to hear feedback from you guys. I'd like to hear what your situation is because I think that's the bigger picture. Really, I think what we communicate to each other about what it's like where we are is actually going to be a lot more informative than just a person here and a person there prognosticating what they think the big evil underpinnings of all this are. Let me start by saying that I'm not even all that thrilled with what's on the table here. I mean, it looks great, but it seems to me, and this was all bought, by the way, in local retail stores, some chains, mostly chains, Sportsman's, Cabela's, ranch stores, things like that. And it did take a couple of trips. This wasn't all in one trip, and it wasn't one store. So it was like two trips to a couple of different stores. Having said that, I will say that some of this was more expensive than I thought it would be, and some of it's less expensive. And it may, again, your mileage may vary. These Remington rifled slugs, these 12 gauge slugs, were $5 for a box. So it's $1 a round, which actually may not sound cheap, but it seems like it's cheap lately. The 5.56, so it's probably about market value, typical market value. I think I paid $11.99, so $12 for each box of 20 here. And so that is what? It's about 60 cents a round. So I think that's actually pretty decent too. These I just got, these mini shells, these Aguila mini shells, I just got because I haven't seen them. I haven't been able to get them before. They're not even anything all that interesting. They're just 7.5 shot, but I haven't been able to get them before. They were a little more. They were actually $14 a box for 20 of them. So under $1 a round, but still not cheap, not super expensive. And I will add that I'm going to actually have to get an adapter for my Mossberg. You need an adapter to be able to cycle these through a Mossberg. You might get a couple through, but they will hang up from everything I'm seeing online. Apparently not so with Remington 870s and some other common models, but other common manufacturers. But with the Mossbergs, not so much. So I think that's a pretty easy fix, though. I think most sporting goods stores have that little adapter. I think it's probably $25, something in there. So I'm going to be picking one of those up soon. This 9 over here, I'm a little bit disappointed in, actually. I don't know about you guys, but I got really spoiled and really used to paying about 17 or 18 cents a round for 9 at Walmart back when they used to sell handgun ammunition. And so these were, let's see what these were. They were $36.99, so $37 for this box of 100, and that is brass case. And basically the same total, so about half and half for these. These were $18.99, so actually slightly more. Which basically is making them about 36 to 38 cents a round. Now, maybe some of you were buying more expensive ammo for years, and so you're used to paying 36, 38, 40 cents a round. And I know also that you look on Gunbroker. I look on Gunbroker almost every day. I have never bought ammo or anything else from Gunbroker. I've never bought a gun on there. I've never bought ammo on there. But you look on there, I use it as a reference all the time, and I might suggest you do that too, so that you kind of have an idea when you go into a store if you're getting robbed or not. And it does seem like the price in the store, in the retail store, for 9 is going up a bit. They've been pretty good about holding their prices closer to pre-panic prices, at least in my area, with a lot of things, and I think these would be good examples of that. Even these little Aguila 22s would be. The handgun ammunition seems to be going for more. Now, having said that, looking on Gunbroker, it didn't look like much 9 was even selling in the past few days. I did the selling soonest feature, and a lot of stuff was going through with no bids and not even a particularly high starting bid price. So I think what we can take from that is that the situation is really fluid and it's really volatile all across the country. And what's happening in one region is the opposite of what's happening in another. I looked up a couple of articles. Let me see if I can bring one up here. Oh, you know what? I closed it. But I was looking at articles in the past few days about the ammo shortage, And people were actually writing for journals exactly the opposite, precisely the opposite of what I'm finding. So they were having an easy time finding rifle rounds. Well, that's the hardest thing for me to find here where I am in Western Montana. They were having a really tough time finding 9mm. I'm finding it. So I think what we can take from that are a few things. I think we can say safely any conspiracy theory anybody is putting out there on YouTube about ammunition, people want to find a reason for something, and sometimes there is a reason, and sometimes there's just simply not. And manufacturing a conspiracy around that to suit your your irritation, I don't think is helpful to the person doing it, and I don't think it's helpful to the rest of us either. And I don't think it's true. I don't think it is. I don't think there's anything going on other than a huge amount of demand for a low amount of supply, and a low amount of supply only because these factories are working at capacity, but they're working with skeleton crews because of the pandemic. So I think things will equalize and normalize over time. I think it is going to be a while, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think they're going to have to be back to full operation capacity with staffing to make that happen. But I don't think anybody out there is really subverting and undermining the market all that much. I'd love to know what you hear. I'd love to know what's happening in your area. Again, in my area, I'm finding a smattering of things like what's on the table here. I'm finding things like this every week. But I also have the time to do the legwork right now. Right now, I'm not having an issue with scheduling other things, so I'm able to get to a few stores any given day. Now, I don't do that every day. I might do it a couple days a week, where I just go out and look a bit. And some days I don't do it at all. Some days I don't pay attention, but I invest some time, but not a lot. Now, if I was working a typical 9 to 5, 5 to 6 days a week right now, this would not be possible. I will give one little tip, and I don't know if this is true where you are, but the Cabela's here where I live, actually, and I don't normally like Cabela's all that much, but I will give them credit for one thing. That is that they are staggering, at least here in my store, they are staggering how they put ammo out. So they're putting it out in the first thing in the morning, they're putting some out midday, mid to late afternoon, evening, so that people have kind of a fair shot depending on what their work schedules are, which actually I think is great. I may not get as much as I would like any one trip, so I might go there on a Tuesday and I only find a few things. Today I actually went over there and didn't find anything that I wanted. They had some things, but it wasn't really my stuff. But it does mean that people who work regular schedules or people who work a graveyard shift or people who have less flexibility have a little more opportunity. And I like that, and I like them for that. I wish other stores would start doing it. That's the only one I know of so far. But again, having said that, I think we're seeing just variability all over the country. I don't think we can make any grand statements about this is the way it is, because it's not. What's happening in my area may even be different than what's happening across the state from me. Oh, we have a cat visiting us. And what's happening across the state or in my area is vastly different than what's happening if you live in Ohio or Georgia or California or Oregon or wherever you may be. We're all experiencing very, very different supply chain issues and very, very specific niche issues. So I think all of that is just kind of by way of saying that we need to just relax a bit and let it come back. And it will resolve itself over time. But in the meantime, I wouldn't panic about it. I don't think there's any reason to panic. I don't think you should necessarily go out and just grab everything you can. I think that could come back to bite you. But again, stocking up is always good if you can get it for a good price. And again, so around here, for what I'm finding, under 40 cents for 9 seems to be now a good price, which chafes me a bit. I'm not happy about it, but that seems to be the going rate. Everything else kind of varies. 30-06, you're really lucky if you can find it at all. And if you can find it at Walmart in a cheap old Remington box of Core-Lokt for $20 or under, you're really going to be happy about that because it doesn't seem to be anywhere, and especially not for that price. So I just wanted to kind of throw this out there to say, here's what I'm experiencing. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please like and subscribe if you have not already, and if you want to see more content. Probably not a whole lot more like this because I really don't intend to do many videos on ammo. But just to talk a little bit about what I found and to hear from you guys. That's mostly what I want. I want to hear what it's like in your area. I want to hear what you're getting, what you're not getting, what stores you have, how big a town or small a town you're in, all those different things that affect availability. And they really do. If you live in some little tiny town in eastern Montana, you're not going to have the outlet for it that I do here. I have a lot less access here than if I lived in, say, I don't know, Denver, Colorado or something, Salt Lake City, someplace much bigger. So I'd love to hear from you and where you're at and find out what your situation is. Leave comments down below. If you have a look through my well, not my playlist, my videos, and see anything you like, please feel free to, give that a thumbs up as well as this one. I'd love to also hear what else you guys would like to see. I have some plans for some videos to do in the near future, but I'd love to hear from you and see what comes up, see what you'd like to see more of. Whether it's kind of beginning gun owner stuff, whether it's reloading stuff, whatever it might be. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, and I will see you all soon.